Did you know that the slice of cheese you might be enjoying with your evening cracker, or perhaps melted into a comforting sandwich, could be playing a more significant role in your daily well-being than you realize? Especially for those of us embracing our vibrant years past 60, the choices we make, even with something as familiar as cheese, can have profound effects. Many of us reach for cheese as a source of calcium, a tasty snack, or a flavorful addition to our meals, believing it's a straightforward part of a balanced diet. But what if certain types of cheese, the ones often marketed as convenient or even gourmet, are quietly contributing to challenges like unexpected fatigue, a bit more stiffness in your joints, or even fogginess in your thinking? It's a startling thought, isn't it? The idea that a food so many of us love could, in some instances, be working against our efforts to stay active, sharp, and independent. We're not here to say all cheese is off the table, absolutely not. But understanding the subtle differences, the nuances that separate a truly beneficial cheese from one that might be best enjoyed sparingly or perhaps avoided, is crucial. If you've been feeling that your energy isn't what it used to be, or if you're navigating concerns like blood pressure or digestive comfort, the type of cheese you consume might be an overlooked piece of the puzzle. Before we delve into the specifics, I'm curious, what's one way cheese features in your weekly meals? Share your thoughts in the comments below. It's always enlightening to see how we all incorporate these foods into our lives. And if you're finding this information valuable, a simple thumbs up really helps others discover this channel. Now, let's not paint all cheeses with the same brush. The world of cheese is vast and varied. Some varieties can indeed, however, be wonderful allies for our health, offering valuable protein, beneficial fats, and even gut-friendly probiotics. But others, often those that have undergone extensive processing or contain surprisingly high levels of sodium and certain types of fats, can silently tip the scales in a less favorable direction. So, what characteristics should we be looking for when selecting cheese, particularly as our body's needs and sensitivities evolve? It's less about a rigid list of must-eats and more about understanding principles. Think about cheeses made with just a few recognizable ingredients: milk, salt, cultures, and rennet. The fewer additives, emulsifiers, and artificial flavorings, the better. Your body knows how to handle real food. When we introduce a barrage of synthetic compounds, it can place an unnecessary burden on our digestive system and even our liver. Have you ever picked up a cheese product and found the ingredient list to be a paragraph long? That's often a signal to pause and consider if there's a more natural alternative. This is a big one. While sodium is an essential mineral, excessive amounts are a well-known contributor to elevated blood pressure, which is a significant concern for many seniors. Some cheeses are notoriously high in sodium, used as a preservative and for flavor, but the impact isn't just on your cardiovascular system. High sodium intake can also affect fluid balance, potentially leading to that heavy, sluggish feeling in your legs, or even contribute to calcium loss from bones over time. The very thing we often eat cheese to support. It's a delicate balance, isn't it? As we age, our digestive systems can become more sensitive. Some cheeses, particularly those made from goat's or sheep's milk, or those that are well-aged, tend to have lower levels of lactose. This can make them much gentler on the stomach for individuals who find cow's milk dairy a bit challenging. Furthermore, some traditionally made cheeses are rich in probiotics, those beneficial bacteria that support a healthy gut microbiome. A healthy gut is foundational to overall well-being, influencing everything from nutrient absorption to immune function and even mood. Could your cheese be a secret supporter of your gut health? Fat in cheese has often been demonized, but the type of fat matters immensely. Some cheeses, especially those from grass-fed animals, can provide beneficial fatty acids, like conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, which has been linked to anti-inflammatory properties and even healthy weight management. Conversely, highly processed cheese products can sometimes contain less desirable fats or a skewed ratio that doesn't serve our health goals. It's about choosing fats that fuel your body, not ones that might contribute to inflammation or arterial plaque. Now, instead of just listing names, let's think about types of cheeses that often embody these positive principles. Consider fresh mozzarella, particularly the kind made with minimal processing, maybe even from buffalo milk if you can find it. Why is this often a good choice? It tends to be lower in sodium than many aged cheeses. Its soft texture comes from its moisture content, not an overload of fats. It's relatively simple in its ingredient list. Think about it: a pure, clean taste. This kind of cheese can be a wonderful source of protein and calcium without overwhelming your system. It's not about eating a pound of it, but a sensible portion can be a delightful and nutritious addition. Then there's goat cheese, chèvre. Many people find goat cheese easier to digest. This is often attributed to the different protein structure and smaller fat globules in goat's milk compared to cow's milk. It also tends to have less lactose. Beyond digestibility, goat cheese can be a good source of medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs, which are fats that the body can metabolize more readily for energy. It's also packed with minerals like selenium and phosphorus. That tangy flavor also means a little goes a long way, helping with portion control naturally. Have you ever tried goat cheese and noticed it feels lighter than some other cheeses? That's your body giving you feedback. And what about a cheese like Swiss cheese? Its characteristic nutty flavor is appealing, but there's more to it. During its aging process, the bacteria responsible for those famous holes also help to break down much of the lactose, making it very low in lactose. Swiss cheese is also a notable source of vitamin K2, a nutrient that plays a crucial role in directing calcium to your bones and away from your arteries. And its sodium content, often surprisingly lower than many other hard, aged cheeses. This is a great example of how traditional cheese-making processes can yield a product that's both flavorful and offers unique nutritional benefits. Now let's turn our attention to the other side of the coin. What are the characteristics that should make us pause and perhaps reconsider, especially if we're aiming for optimal health and energy in our senior years? This is perhaps the biggest red flag. We're talking about cheese products or cheese foods, those that often come individually wrapped in aerosol cans or in spreadable tubs with a shelf life that seems almost indefinite. These are typically made by melting down bits of real cheese with a host of emulsifiers, artificial colors, flavor enhancers, and a significant amount of added salt or sodium phosphates. Why are these problematic? Emulsifiers have been studied for their potential to disrupt the gut microbiome. Artificial phosphates can interfere with mineral balance and have been linked in some research to concerns for kidney health and even vascular calcification. Your body isn't designed to process a cocktail of synthetic chemicals on a regular basis. Does the label say pasteurized, prepared cheese product? That's a clue it's far removed from its natural state. We touched on this earlier, but it bears repeating. Some cheeses are simply packed with sodium. While a little enhances flavor, too much can be a real burden, especially if you're managing blood pressure, heart health, or fluid retention. It's not just the obvious culprits. Even some Artisan or gourmet blue cheeses or very hard, aged grating cheeses can be sodium bombs if you're not mindful of portion sizes. Always check the label. You might be surprised at how quickly a few small cubes can add up to a significant portion of your daily sodium allowance. While some fats are good, cheeses that are excessively high in saturated fats without offering much else in terms of nutritional value, like protein, vitamins, or minerals, can be problematic. Think of some cream cheeses, for example. While delicious, a standard cream cheese is very high in fat, relatively low in protein, and doesn't offer a broad spectrum of micronutrients. If it's also loaded with added sugars, as in some flavored cream cheese spreads, it becomes a source of empty calories that can contribute to weight gain and inflammation without nourishing your body. The key is nutrient density, getting the most beneficial compounds per calorie. Consider the classic American cheese slice. While it evokes nostalgia for many, from a nutritional standpoint, it often falls into the highly processed category. It's engineered for meltability and a long shelf life, often containing those emulsifiers, artificial colors, and a hefty dose of sodium. It's more of a hum cheese product than cheese in its natural form. Is it providing the kind of building blocks your body needs to stay strong and resilient? Or is it contributing to an inflammatory load and sodium burden that your body then has to work to manage? And then there are the processed cheese spreads, the kind in tubs or jars. These can be some of the most concerning. They often combine high sodium levels with artificial phosphates, unhealthy fats, sometimes even trans fats, in older or cheaper formulations, though thankfully less common now, and a long list of chemical additives. The term "stroke on a plate" that some use might be dramatic, but it highlights the genuine concern that these ultra-processed foods can pose a significant risk, particularly to cardiovascular health, kidney function, and overall inflammation when consumed regularly. It's the cumulative effect of these ingredients that can slowly erode your well-being. Let's also revisit cream cheese, especially the full-fat versions or those with added sugars and flavors. Its allure is its rich, creamy texture. However, a significant portion of its calories comes from saturated fat, with relatively little protein or other micronutrients. For seniors, managing calorie intake while maximizing nutrient density is key. If cream cheese is a frequent indulgence, it might be displacing other, more nutrient-rich foods. And if it's the flavored kind, you're often getting a hidden dose of sugar, which can impact blood sugar levels and contribute to inflammation. What seems like a harmless spread could be subtly working against your energy and metabolic health. So this isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. How can you navigate the cheese aisle with confidence? Don't just look at the front of the package, turn it over. Scrutinize the ingredient list. Is it short and understandable, or long and full of words you can't pronounce? Check the sodium content per serving. Look at the fat content and type. Knowledge is your best tool. Even the good cheeses are best enjoyed in moderation. Cheese is a concentrated food. A serving size is often much smaller than we think, typically about an ounce, which is like a pair of dice or a small matchbox. Using cheese as a flavor accent rather than the main event can make a big difference. Great hard cheeses to make a little go further. Crumble feta or goat cheese over salads. How do you feel after eating certain cheeses? Do you feel energized and satisfied, or bloated, sluggish, or uncomfortable? Our bodies often give us subtle or not so subtle clues. Pay attention to these signals. What works wonderfully for one person might not be the best fit for another. Cheese is just one part of your overall eating pattern. If your diet is rich in whole, unprocessed foods, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats, then enjoying a sensible portion of good quality cheese can certainly fit. It's when highly processed cheeses, high in sodium and unhealthy additives, become a frequent staple that problems can arise. Ultimately, making smart cheese choices as a senior isn't about deprivation. It's about making informed decisions that support your vitality, your energy, and your long-term health. It's about choosing quality over quantity and real food over heavily engineered products. The cheeses you select should contribute to your well-being, not silently detract from it. Think of it this way: your body is an incredible vessel that has carried you through many decades. Nourishing it with wholesome, minimally processed foods is one of the best ways to honor it and ensure you have the strength and energy to enjoy all the years to come. A simple shift in how you select and consume cheese could be a surprisingly impactful step towards feeling more vibrant and resilient every single day. Now, I'd love to hear from you based on what we've discussed. What's one insight you've gained about cheese that you plan to apply? Or perhaps you have a favorite healthy cheese or a tip for enjoying it wisely. Please share your experiences and thoughts in the comments section. Your journey and your wisdom can inspire others. If this discussion has been helpful, please give this video a like, share it with friends or family who might benefit, and be sure to subscribe for more insights on living your healthiest, most vibrant life. Thank you for joining me today, and here's to making choices that help you feel strong, balanced, and full of energy.